Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us here at the Sales Dojo here in Cedar Park, Texas. My name is Stephen Grip. If you are regular, thank you for joining, and welcome to my solo performance here. We'll have some agents coming on the floor. In the throes of Medicare, we are super busy on the floor, so we're going to have agents coming in and out. That's probably why you've seen a truncated version of the Sales Dojo. One of the cool things that I'm talking to new agents who are coming on board, I explaining how these work. When we say like we have a live streamed training mechanism where people can actually watch and discern on what we're discussing. But what makes us unique is that it's a roundtable discussion about topics relevant. Being a little bit about myself. I've been a trainer for many years. I was a teacher and a trainer. I was a consultant. My passion is education. I really like to teach people how to learn. I'm a lifelong learner. I like to share information. I like to read and find out things and share and collaborate and consult. And one of the great things about these sales dojos is that it allows me, at this time to have discussions like this, even if it is a monologue. But what's great about it is that agents come in and they bring in real life issues that's dealing with their job. Training in the past is, when my supervisor would come to me and he'd say, Grip, let's put together a great training package. And the first thing that they would say is, let's put together an amazing PowerPoint. Let's put together this amazing training portfolio. We'll get all the information there. We'll make great slides, great visuals, great graphics and data. And I'd be like, okay, great. And I'd put those together and, it'd be great. And, with any type of training, whether it was touched by me or whether it was put together by, your top trainer, the majority of the people that are paying attention are really the ones that really care. Everyone else is just like, I'm not really paying attention. Well, with these dojos, what's great is that they're very organic discussions. We've had agents come in here and just sit and listen. And people out there message me saying, man, that particular dojo was great. Information about Medicaid, information about overcoming objections. The way that we present this is just a very, very unique opportunity for you guys to just learn at your own pace. So I just want to leave with that. That was very exciting for me to be a part of this and to be a part of these dojos. What I want to lead in with is kind of what we're talking about now is, with Medicare, there's a lot of changes that are coming up for 2023, changes for the better. We're going to have a decrease in the annual deductible for Part B. The annual drug deductible has increased, so that is a bit of a deterrence. But what's great is that now that drug plans are starting to increase their premiums, that means that commissions are going to start increasing for agents. So the reason I talk about this is I pose a question to myself that is kind of like rhetorical, but I guess I'll talk out loud about this. Is Medicare up to speed on the technology of what it takes care of? Like, is it up to speed on how to handle, teledocs and how to handle teleappointments? A lot of the things that I'm seeing in Medicare Advantage plans is that now they're incorporating these co-payments, if you will, to having basically teledoc appointments. And I've talked to a lot of carriers and they say, we're trying to base our business around, people who just want to get on the phone and talk to people, have a live streamed conference with their doctor. And, is that going to be a good paradigm shift into bringing technology into the fold for Medicare? Or is it good that we keep technology not at a slower pace, but like, for example, the majority, if not all of our business is done by phone. And when we talk to people on the phone, the reason that we do that is not because we want to hinder technology. We don't want to push forth enrollments online because it's easier. Because, if you're asking me if I'm going to enroll somebody over the phone versus here, send a link and get it done, I'm going to prefer the former. I want to talk to them. So leading into, hindering, or not hindering, but maybe just like holding back that technology is actually better for Medicare. There's nothing better than getting a client on the phone and just having conversation with them. Frank says this. He's like, insurance is one of those businesses that you need to have a human component to it. You can go on Amazon, and I was just looking at Amazon, and they're making some changes now as well. Looks like Jeff Bezos is going to donate all of his money to charity, but let's see if that happens. But anyways, if you go to Amazon and you purchase a product, like it's easy to just do your own search, easy to find product that you want, look at the comparisons, look at reviews, purchase the product. But with Medicare.gov, which is kind of copying what Amazon does, is that the right thing for the client? It's easy to just go on Medicare.gov or go on some incumbent's website and just, okay, that's the drugs I take. That's the doctors I take. Let's sign up for that plan. Is that really what is going to be good for the business? We here in Medicare Gurus, we thrive on relationships. We are alive because we build our lifelong clientele. And so when we talk to these people, it's good that we have phone capabilities to talk to them. We want to get people on the phone and not just push them off onto a website to have them enroll. You talk to a lot of these incumbents, and a lot of them are pushing online enrollment and automated enrollment. And they'll probably try and create an image for us that we're antiquated business, that, they're behind the times. But the irony is that we are the exact opposite. We are cultivating relationships with these clients over the phone because we know how Medicare works. We've been in the business for 35 years. We know that the relationship is the most important part of the business. And so now I have Frank here. I'm just talking about Medicare and the advances in technology and how it could be a hindrance when it comes to enrollment, like online enrollment and automated enrollment, and how we can be perceived as antiquated even though we're actually ahead of the game because we're leaving that business to do stuff over the phone to build those relationships and build a lifelong clientele.
Well, I've seen a lot of it, and it's been a recurring theme for over the years, and it happens a whole lot, and happens in a lot of industries too. But also with recruiting. Now that we're recruiting agents nationwide, right?
Right.
First rule is we don't get off the phone until their contract's signed.
Right.
Done.
Right.
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 And the bottom line and the crux of the situation is that the tools are built by people or ordered to be built by people, the people that don't know how to close or don't know what sales is, and quite frankly, heavily relied on a bunch of, I don't know how to put this diplomatically. I don't know how to say it really diplomatically with carrying the point over. So weak-ass salespeople leave it to chance.
Yeah.
You're just afraid to close it.
Right.
That's what it is. You either don't know how to do it, or you just you know what? I'll leave it in their hands. I'll leave it in their hands. Like they made the decision before they talked to you. No, they didn't. So unless you're willing to say, we're going to get this done now, you do the things that you can do now, right? Mm-hmm. I've done my job right. I'm good at what I do. There's no reason for you not to do this. We'll get back to it later. Okay. Yeah. No, you're just being a pansy. Mm-hmm. That's what you're doing. I did a great job. I sent them the thing and they'll fill it out. No, they won't.
Right. They never do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's like, going out to a girl. Well, I gave her my number, so, I think it's going to work out good.
Yeah.
No, you're never going to get a call back.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
So that's what it really is that it's a crutch. It's a psychological safety net to make an agent or a salesperson feel like they have done something productive. Mm-hmm. Right? And fine. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and pick up that date. I'll go ahead and get that closed. The next conversation, which is when they call me. Yeah. Because they don't trust you. They don't believe you. And the fact is, they might have been ready to buy from you, but you didn't guide them to it. Yeah.
So I want to extrapolate on that. I want to look at that same context when it comes to actual companies running that same mindset. Like, we've automated to make it so easy for the client to enroll online. Mm-hmm. Do you think that same context applies?
Well, yeah. It's hella easy for me to go ahead and buy socks from Amazon.
Right.
I don't buy insurance from Amazon.
Right.
eBay allows you to go through and buy a car online, but generally that's mostly for people that are looking for really cheap or really exotic cars with a whole lot of vetting and proof, and they still go look at them and buy them before they finish the purchase.
Right.
So there has to be some component in there where people have to understand that this is a human interaction, especially when you sell a promise, which is insurance or any financial service for that matter.
So let me ask you this. I mean, you're on a roll there, but I want to pose this question. Do you think these major companies, unlike us, these major corporations, understand that component or don't care about that component?
They don't understand that component. And I don't really think that insurance companies in particular do care about production. They understand the concept that agents are producing. They also know that that is an unknown equivalent for them because they handle money.
Mm-hmm.
They're good at money. They don't know people. They don't know how to sell it. They used to be very good at selling and running agents and things like that. But then they brought in field marketing organizations that automated that, and then automated automation. So you have 9 levels of people between an agent and an insurance company.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is that everyone's basically outsourcing their job, and it gets progressively worse. It's like that old movie with Michael Keaton, Multiplicity.
Yeah.
Where he makes a copy of a copy of a copy, and by the 3rd time, it's just like this dude in a helmet drooling. That's the mentality of like a 3-year-old.
He was great in that.
And a great movie, but that's the way the world's gotten. Yeah. So the CEO of an insurance company usually is someone of a financial background or an underwriter or actuarial background, right?
Yeah, right.
Sometimes even doctors. And those guys let's face it, they don't do people, right? Well, we're in the business of people. Yeah. So the problem is that they don't understand it, and they try to make it quote unquote easier for the individual to enroll because they want to cut out the middlemen.
Right.
Well, what people don't realize is that the true middlemen are not the people servicing a client.
Right.
Right. There's a reason why like Carvana isn't doing nearly as good as Ford in general, or even what is it called? That's
CarMax.
CarMax.
Yeah.
Runs circles around them every year.
Yeah.
Generally same process, that there's human beings in it because it's a major thing.
Yeah.
Cars and homes are essential. You can look for homes on Zillow, but you're going to be talking to a listing agent.
Yeah.
Right. So the problem is that these major things, major decisions, life insurance, health insurance, things of that nature, they require a component of trust. And it doesn't matter how good the machine is. The machine is built by someone that you don't know. However, I'm sitting in front of you. You know me. I'm a real person. You can slap me in the face. There's an accountability there.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll save it till off camera.
Don't tease me. But there's an accountability there. And that accountability leads to more trust. Now, people that don't capitalize on that, that's just weak. That's just really weak. So it's good intention to go, we can automate the enrollment process for individuals. Yeah, there have been companies that have been doing that for 20 years.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what do you want to... We keep on making it easier and they don't sign up because they don't want to sign up that way.
Yeah.
And it's always this bridge. Things, right? Just throw away everyday usage, paper towels, buying them over, Instacart and stuff like that. Those are things. Those are consumables. They're tangible, so I can get something. The things of consequence, right? Well, those things you have to have some sort of accountability for.
I agree. So our topic today is, with advances in technology in all industries, Medicare seems to be wanting to stay back. And yet some companies, like corporations, they want to push the automation. They want to push the easy enrollment. And our discussion is, we obviously work in the business of human interaction. Do you think Medicare will do what it can to stay in that mode, or do you think that it'll say, okay, we want to make it easy for people over 65? And we both agree, like, our job is going to last a lifetime because people need their insurance and they trust somebody that they need to talk to.
Well, I think Medicare themselves would like for it to be all automated because we know that you can buy insurance through Medicare insurance on their website, and they're happy to do that. And we all know ourselves, and by feedback of the clients, that they're not investing any more money in customer service and real people helping. So we know that they would love for it to all be automated. I'll give you actually a perfect example. I just submitted an application for a gentleman who said he could easily purchase his supplement online because he's already been looking. He just kind of wanted somebody else's opinion about it.
Of course.
And I said, yeah, sure, you could. And he was an engineer, so he's very practical, very, probably things make sense to him in a certain way, logically, and probably not much feeling in the matter. But the what clenched it was I told him, yeah, sure, you could buy it online. Like you're probably already on the website now. You've been looking. But the benefit to going through us, submitting the application through us, is first of all, you get it off your plate. You have us wishing you happy birthday every year, and we use it as an opportunity to check on you. And I said, a little extra happy birthday never hurt anybody. Well wishes, and you always have us to fall back on if you can't get in touch with somebody with a customer service with your supplemental, a question about a claim, you have a weird situation, you want to make an adjustment, call us. I want you to have what you want to have, whether it's the same thing we're setting you up with today or not. I want you to come to us so we can troubleshoot, talk about how your needs are changing, because they'll change. If your budget changes, we'll discuss that. That was enough for him to move forward with us.
That's awesome.
He wanted, even though he didn't, I think he came into the call not thinking he needed a human really to help him with this. He left knowing that was the way to go. Yeah,
that's missing. That's missing. I mean, these people they have to go in these calls with like metaphorical machetes, and just cut down all of these incessant phone calls that mean nothing. And when we train our agents, especially the new agents, it's like, we have to prepare them like, look, you are not making a sales call, okay? You are calling because they are in Medicare and they either need help or they are inquiring for someone or someone else that needs help. And so that is definitely forgotten. And what's ironic is that those big companies, they train on the rapidity of getting applications done, Like, what makes my service great? You're not on the phone with me that long. That's their logic.
Right. And I even pointed that to him. I said, look, we're not going to bug you, but we're here for if you need us. And we will call you once a year on your birthday, which I think is a good middle ground. And he agreed. He agreed. He liked that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't trying to be rude. I'm not checking text here. When you guys were saying how many people, when you started talking about Medicare.gov and the enrollment levels, I've been listening to what you're talking about while you're talking about that service, the extra care, and things of that nature.
You looked into it. You looked it up.
Here is a BMC Health Services research paper, an actual scientific paper, a research study that was done on Medicare Advantage or in Medicare Part D enrollments on Medicare.gov. In other words, everything you can sign up with Medicare.gov. You want to know what it's titled? Seniors don't use Medicare.gov.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm a capitalist, right?
Yes.
Adam Smith is my jam.
Right. Yes.
Right. So the wealth of nations, all that good stuff. But the concept that people can make a choice. And the markets will determine what is best for the markets. So for years, everyone's been trying to say automate, automate, automate. And what they're really telling people, what they're really saying is, I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to deal with you. So unassisted enrollments in Medicare.gov are so low that they're just right? They're dumping money into this. That's a free tool, free service. You don't need an agent. The assisted enrollments in Medicare.gov have remained consistent, but they're still not that high. Really, everyone's going to agents. So the problem is that these guys, these accountants, right? And I've met a lot of high ups at insurance companies. Best one I've met so far was Frankie from Aetna, the director of the
the golf course, right?
Love Frankie because she is an agent. She understands sales.
Right.
She's pistol too. Absolutely. If she ever watched this, hi Frankie, how you doing? So the issue that you encounter is this: is that the market itself is saying, no, I need a person for this thing. This isn't a pallet of toilet paper. Right. This isn't some socks. This isn't a little electronic device or a walkie-talkie. This is something I depend on. I need a person. And these companies keep on dumping the money and resources, and as does our government, to try to make it to where it's not a person-based thing. But it is a very personal thing. The market keeps on saying it. And the funny thing is that other countries that have gone even further with public health still understand that it's a personal thing and don't try to over-automate it because they need the usage. If you need usage on a system to validate a budget like they do for the national NHS in England, right? They go, we need more people to service these people, not more things to service these people. Because ultimately, that's what it is. So You keep beating your head against the wall. These insurance companies keep on spending millions of dollars to make their enrollment just a little bit better, which they probably should talk to an agent because they can tell you you shouldn't make it that much more complicated. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter. In fact, what it's really doing, it's opening the lines in because they're trying to make it that easy. It's opening the lines up for bad actors because we've seen that. We've seen people and we've seen companies and we've seen the fallout from when they contact us to fix the problem that is now there.
Not even bad actors, but like schemers.
Right.
Which is definitely not good.
They flat out talk to someone, they ask for their Medicare number in a few seconds, they sign them up through Marks.
Yeah.
All right, or they sign them up through that. That's just not cool.
Yeah.
And the problem is that because of this, because the resources are going there and people are saying we're going to cut the agent out, we're going to cut the agent out, we're going to cut the agent out. Well, the clients aren't asking for the agent to cut out. It's not costing them anything. It's not really costing the insurance company anything because they are limited on their profit anyway.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So they turn around and they go, we're making it easier. We'll go direct to the consumer. Well, the consumer doesn't want to buy at that point. Then.
Right.
I mean, what do you want?
So then why are people fighting this? Why are they fighting
who's fighting it? It's the accountants. Those are the ones that are pushing for automation because accountants, why wouldn't they? By nature, accountants are probably introverts by nature anyways. That's why they like numbers better than people, than human beings, right?
Right.
And on paper, financially, yes, it looks better on paper because you're spending less money on human beings, on customer service and agents. So sure, from a financial standpoint, it makes more sense. So why are we listening to accountants who hate people and only want to talk about numbers and the balance book? Why would we listen to them? They're not the ones in the real world having to have their insurance shopped or ask questions. They probably don't have very much human interaction anyways by choice. So why are they the ones that we should be listening to the authority on this?
Oh, here we go.
Sorry.
Come on in.
After yours.
Had to deal with something here because I heard it, and this is actually happening to me this morning here.
Oh, you're listeing to Dojo?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just got off the phone. It's a humble brag. But
making sure.
So maybe we should try it. But I had a guy call in for me yesterday when I was out, and he calls back in. Okay, this is when we have to pull the sass out here, and we talk about people, taking the agent out of things and kind of doing it on their own.
Right.
So Andrew's like, look, he just got back in the office this morning. He's already on the phone. It's 8:45. Let me send you over to Allison. So that way she can at least get everything set up first. So then that way when he's off, he can come on. And so he agrees. He gets Allison on the phone, and he's very combative with Allison. He doesn't want to talk to her. He's like, you're not Jacob. You're not my agent. I don't want to do anything with you. Talks about all that, which is like good, that he has that defense. But at the same time, it's like, no, you called. We have your policy. We have everything here. He's just busy.
Right.
It's the busiest time of the year. Just give him a minute. He was out yesterday when you called in. It's 45 minutes into the day. Like chill.
Right.
Okay. And he goes, well, if he can't take the time to call me, then I'll just take my business elsewhere. Wow. And I go, fine. You want to get sassy this morning? We'll get sassy this morning. So I call him back in like 20 minutes when I finally get off the phone. And rings twice. He sends me to voicemail. Oh. And I go, buddy, you don't know what you're in for here.
You said that?
Well, in my head, we're about to get real sassy here. And so
we're going to get stupid.
Yeah, we're going to get stupid here. And so Colin sends me a voicemail after 2 rings, leave him a voicemail. And I'm like, hey, it's Jacob here. Guess what? I have time, but apparently you don't. So guess what I'm going to do when I get off this phone call? I'm going to call the next person in line because I have a line. Mm-hmm. So I'll hear from you when we both can connect. And clicked, and I was like, all right. Give it a few minutes, wait for him to call back. He didn't call back. So I go, you know what? I'm going to text him. And I go, hey, it's Jacob here. I had some back troubles yesterday, so I was out, and I'm back in today. I'll be here at my desk. I'm here to help. But if you can't wait to talk to me as the expert that you've known for the past 2 years and trusted, go ahead and call somebody else. I'm fine with that.
Nice.
See how that works out for you.
So he called somebody else. Guess what they tried to do?
Advantage plan.
Sell him an advantage plan. He immediately wanted his Medicare number. And he called back in about 30 minutes later. Oh, hey, man, how's it going? and I go, hello, sir.
Yeah.
It's like that now.
I was like, what do you need help with? And he goes, I just wanted to do just check in, make sure everything's okay. I go, okay. so how you doing this morning? He was like, well, got a little impatient, so called around and, talked to somebody who didn't really seem to speak perfect English. And I go, oh, did you now? And yeah, they started talking about an Advantage plan, and I was like, I just don't trust these people. So I hung up and I called you back. I go, And in my head, I'm like, oh, how they come crawling back.
Yeah.
Because in that text message, I made you feel bad because I go, we've had this relationship for years.
Yeah.
This is the first time you have called during AEP, and your rate increases in at least for another 2 weeks.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we doing here?
Yeah. Why are you getting crazy?
And he immediately apologized for it after he called somebody else and realized, oh, they're just trying to sell me something. They're not here to help me with something.
Right.
So that's what I was listening to when you guys were talking about the agents out. And I was like, this just happened. And guess what? Turns out he still has all the best plans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, just ride it out another year, or at least until we get another rate increase,
Yeah.
which is going to be December. And he was like, okay, are you going to call me back? And I was like, I'll call you back. And guess what? I'll leave you a voicemail. And if you don't pick up, if there's something that you need help with, then I'm going to tell you in the voicemail. If I tell you everything is good, I'm going to say you're good.
Right.
And then leave it. But there's nothing you need to do right now. So there's no rush.
He saw it's a cold world out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yep.
and that's the whole point. So imagine now they're even trying to take that base level out. I mean, we're already dealing with people that don't get trained on how to do any human interactions, right? And then you take that even further out and say, now it's just going to be a robot. I mean, there's going to always be a certain amount of people that are going to do the new thing. Because humanity operates on a bell curve. I've said that like a million times.
I think you have a T-shirt that says that.
Yeah, it should. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. IQs go on bell curves.
Mm-hmm.
Generally ideas, popular demographics, things like technological acceptance, all that goes on a bell curve.
Yeah.
So that's it. So you're going to have 3-4% of the population that's going to go ahead and be okay with that. So you're going to look at that and go, that's the way of the future.
Yeah.
Right. But the world is littered with startups that never got off the ground and great ideas that never took hold.
Yeah.
So the issue that people run into is that human interaction is really important. But, while we do dunk on accountants, rightfully so.
Let me ask this.
They're still people, though.
Yeah.
And there's a component in there that also happens, which is if I'm looking at an organization, especially a large billion-dollar insurance company, and saving 1 or 2 points, right, is worth tens and tens of millions of dollars. And my job is to make sure we save that money. I'm going to do it. So I look at it and I go, okay, well, I don't understand what this person does. And I see that they have a huge check, right? Making $250,000, $300,000 a year. That's more than a lot of the people in the C-suite. That's a hell of a lot more than me in the accounting office. And I have a master's degree, right? And this guy's out of Paducah, Kentucky, barely graduated high school. How the hell is that happening?
Mountain Dew.
Right. Hockey on Mountain Dew. But the thing is that when that happens, right, people go, well, obviously what I do is important and that's not as important. Why should they get more? I've been in organizations in other industries that have done this to me. That's why I'm here. You got literally the worst thing you can tell anyone is you're making too much money for what you do. You devalue them as a human being and their contribution to you as your organization, especially when it's your production line, what makes you money. So, but they do that all the time. And they go, well, we got to cut commissions. We got to go and cut the agents out. These people don't really have value. They're just a big line item. And the problem is, you know what happened to every single one of those companies that did that to me in the past? They're gone. Mm-hmm. They don't exist. They weren't even bought. Mm-hmm. Or they were bought and then their parent company also died because they can't recognize problems like that.
Yeah.
I had a question that I want to ask, but this came to mind. Jacob and I were looking at a lot of these incumbents, these Medicare corporations release their results, their profit results. Mm-hmm. And, obvious drop. But what was crazy is that the attainment rate either stayed or increased. Mm-hmm. Which means that the CAC is staying the same. But I said, well, they're keeping people on the books a little bit better, but that doesn't mean that the agents are going to stay around, So my question is this: what do you think is going to break first? The Medicare Advantage industry, where it's like we just can't run automation anymore, or the Medicare and Medicare supplement industry, where rate increases and underwriting strictures are just not a manageable product?
Here's a concrete example from last week, and this is the final update for my under 65 series here.
Okay.
So they declined her because they said hydrocodone was a treatment.
Really?
That's the reason why.
So they pulled back on the call.
So they pulled back on the call and said, no, it wasn't the call. And then they said it wasn't a prescription report. It was actually because hydrocodone is used as a treatment, not as a stability thing. So
how long was she on it? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Like 5 years or
so. Okay, gotcha.
One a day.
Okay.
One a day, not 4, not 6, no. But what happened was, again, too, we're dealing under 65. I found out that Blue Cross could underwrite it. Mm-hmm. So what did I do? I go to Blue Cross's website. I can do the whole application for her. Mm-hmm. I put all the information in. There's health questions. She can pass the health questions, except the last one that says, have you had any treatments within the past 5 years? And she's like, I don't know how to answer that. And I go, I don't know either. Let's do this. Let's call Blue Cross enrollment. We'll get somebody on the line from Kentucky or whatever, and we'll help them complete the application. They go, okay. So get the guy on the line. Remember, his name was Ed. And I was like, hey, Ed, I've got such and such here. Just to let you know, she's under 65. She just got declined from Mutual. I don't underwrite Blue Cross in this state, but I see that you do take under 65 applicants here. What she's looking for is an underwritten plan F. Basically, here's the greatest layup you will ever receive in your life, buddy. This is better than any referral. This is an agent that has all the information you already need to go through the underwriting process. I get a call 45 minutes later from her and the Blue Cross guy on the line here. Do you know what they asked me?
Should he do it?
No. The guy asked me, hey, man, do you know what we should put under here for treatments?
No way.
In the past 5 years? And I go, no, because I don't know how you underwrite it. I'm not
Mr. Underwriter.
No, Mr. Agent.
Oh, my
This
goodness.
was an in-house Blue Cross agent.
Oh, so it's an agent.
An
It's in their
agent
call center, they
in
said.
their call center.
Oh, my. So he had no idea.
He had no idea. And so then the lady was like, that's a really good question. You know who we should ask? Jacob. So they call me, both still on the same line. And the guy's like, hey, man,
I'm sorry.
can you help me with this question here? Because both of us are a little confused. And I'm like, didn't y'all make the question?
Right.
I'm like, you gonna send me a check in the mail for doing this for you?
Really? You're
Like you should
payroll
to start
now.
off with, yeah. And I was just dumbfounded by that. To have a company, a captive agent in-house call me for help with underwriting for their own company.
Jesus.
Wow,
That's how you know you made it.
embarrassing.
You made it.
That's how you know you made it in the underwriting world. The underwriters are calling you for decisions.
Yeah. Well, listen, make your final point. I mean, we'd love to talk, but it's 12:30.
So what was that previous question you were talking about?
So my question is, what do you think is going to break first? Medicare Advantage industry and corporations trying to automate that they just can't do it anymore, or the Medicare supplement industry where their underwriting strictures are just going to preclude people from enrolling, and the rate increase is just going to push people out of business?
No, it's not just about the automatic enrollment. Really is that Advantage plans right now, especially with the increase in DSNP, dual special needs plan, COVID really messed that up. The economy is not as strong as the employment amount or the employment rate would suggest. Having about a 5% unemployment rate, still not really that healthy, but pretty good compared to where we were at the beginning of COVID.
Right.
The issue is a lot of those people now are qualified and just started getting on disability rolls because they were working kind of, and then that kind of stopped. And they're like, hey, you actually do qualify for disability. Oh, well, I'm going to do that. But all that's one thing and another. The problem is that increase in that reliance on that and Advantage plans as a whole. I mean, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember this, but I was around during the price war for airlines. And that's what they're engaged in. Their profit margin is dropping because they're adding more features to compete against each other off a fixed amount of money that they're earning for each client. So what they're doing is they're loading in more tchotchke stuff, more glitter, more all this other stuff. And realistically, they're going after exclusively the poorest of the poor in the DSNP markets, right? That's because the lead providers, people that want to sell them leads, are going after the easiest, cheapest thing to get. No one tries to market someone making $15,000 a year, except for people that are marketing a Medicaid-based product. Mm-hmm. So they're cheap leads, it's cheap data, it's cheap everything. So now it's forcing the companies to end up just selling this thing, and to sell that thing that only has a quarterly enrollment instead of an annual, they got to start throwing a lot of free stuff at it. Mm-hmm. Help with your light bill, for God's sakes. Yeah. Right? Help with your rent. They're going to keep on doing that. So like as the airlines did with the price wars, remember where the ticket prices kept on dropping until they illegally colluded and said, hey man, I'm going to charge $400 for that phone, sir. You look like $405, right? You know, then we see airfares go up, and now we're treated like cattle inside of these planes. I can't even sit. I'm 6'2". I can't sit down like a normal human being in a plane I used to be able to recline in.
You must be pleasant to travel with, by the way.
Right.
I can't. I fit anywhere.
I go first class. Yeah, I can put you in the overhead. So she's underseat storage.
Put you in a crate.
So this is what's happening.
Yeah.
They're cannibalizing each other, right? And since it is basically a government regulated products, they can't really collude like they usually would, or they can't get around that and go, hey man, no, you got to stand up on this. So they're offering more and more benefits, more and more features, but they cost. And then what they do is they have to try to put more usage restrictions in, makes it more difficult. And the customers don't like it. Someone that's just looking for free everything, that's not a client. Just because someone else is paying for it, which is Medicaid, doesn't make that person a client.
That's a leech.
Right. But not a leech. I mean, these people really need help. And the problem is that you're constantly barraging the poorest of the poor who know they can switch now because they've switched 3 times in a year before with new features every 3 months.
Well, someone told them that they could switch 3 times in a year, and then they're doing it without any knowledge of why they're doing it.
And every time they get a call from the Philippines, they turn, I'll go ahead and see what I can get now. Yeah, I'll go ahead and see what I can get for free now. And that's the problem. So now that puts an extra cost in it. Now we have true ups. Now we have all these other things.
Yeah.
The problem ultimately is that it is a race to the bottom. And it's a race to the bottom driven by cheap, lazy marketing, cheap, lazy product creation driven by the markets that they're going to.
Facile enrollment procedures.
Right. So we can do D-SNPs all day. In fact, certain points of the year, I'll go in and say, where are the areas where we should market those?
Yeah.
Other times is conventional advantage plans. Let's go to those markets. And other times is, let's go ahead and do subs. So let's go to places where those things don't get bought. Let capitalism rule. Let the market tell you where you need to go. It's a smart thing, the market.
Yeah.
So the issue, I mean, even Sun Tzu's just go where your enemy isn't. So the issues that are running in there is that people don't think that way. Accountants don't think that way. Salespeople do.
Right.
I'm not going to go sell pool supplies to the poorest neighborhood in town.
Don't rely on somebody who's not going to look outside their own little world. You know.
Here's my last point. This is from my insider knowledge of a particular company. Okay. This particular company has seen a drastic increase in drug plans sales. That now they are deeming themselves the #1 drug plan company in the nation, saying we're helping the most people. Do you know the reasoning why they said that is?
Why?
They said it's because last year, at the aftermath of COVID, that's when we did our increase in premium, where nobody else did as high of an increase in premium. Then you fast forward to this year where those people that were coming out of the COVID relief and everything like that, they had to re-increase again, but this company did not have to increase their premium. So that's what they're seeing as this is why we're so successful. This is why we're the #1 drug plan on the market. Well, do you know what really happened? It's the cheapest drug plan out there. Stop giving agents commission.
Right.
Is what it is. It's the one that was $7 and actually paid you something. Guess what? That one went out the door and they said nobody's getting paid on that anymore.
Right.
So what are agents going to do? You go to the next one that you're going to get paid on and say, if I'm going to spend my time with you and help you, I'm going to get paid for it. Sorry. Yeah. Everybody's got bills. But that's
the way to approach the client on it. But here's the problem. People don't approach the insurance company on that.
Exactly.
Because when they come into our office, we go, are you going to pay me? Because if you're not going to pay me, this is a short conversation because what I do is very valuable for these people. You're not going to pay me to bring you money?
Okay, then I'm not going to sell it. But that's when you talk about the advantage side and stuff like that, that is going to fizzle out so easy because there's only a certain amount of smoke in that finite room and it's leaking out.
Well, I was just reading about the new Advantage plans for 2024 because right now the Advantage plans for 23 are out. The benefits are out there. You know, they're trying to push those perks. But I'm thinking, how many more benefits can these companies give away without losing money? What can you add on? Like the food card, you have to probably increase the food card, which you're going to lose money on. You're going to have to increase the Part B give back, and that's still a cluster because you have to coordinate with people's Social Security. And it's like, what else can you possibly entice them with to get them to get into your plan?
And you know what you could do instead? Pay an agent what he's worth and let him advise someone on what's best for them. Instead of stop flashing people with marketing and advertising that doesn't mean anything to them. Gimme, what's best. Most of us have been there, or most of us have friends that have been there, or anything else where you're at a point in your life where you don't know what you want, but you just know you constantly want better. You hop from relationship to relationship, apartment to apartment, car to car. You just are like more, better. It's a stupid part of your life.
Yes. But to add on to that too, okay, it's not common sense, but it is an instinct of people to where when they look at their insurance, especially people that don't think about insurance, they're like, my concept of insurance is that I don't have to pay for it, and I'll worry about it when I need to deal with it.
Well, here's the problem.
And then what happens, Frank, is that when something happens and they get these tons of bills, they say to themselves, man, I should have really paid attention to this.
Right. But
the customer's fault. Screw them.
That's what the insurance company thinks, but that's because the insurance companies and also mainly the marketing agencies that go and get those leads for insurance agents don't understand how to communicate with people.
Yes.
The problem is, I do this even in personal communications with people. I don't care about what you want. I don't care about what you want because that's subjective. That changes on a whim, right? That's shopping. I don't care. What I care about is what you don't want. You have to look forward a week, 2 weeks, a year, 2 years, 10 years, whatever it is. Right? I do this in my personal relationship. I do it with my clients. Tell me what you don't want to be at. Tell me what you don't want to have happen to you or not be dealing with. My job to fix that.
Yeah.
Because that's something I can do. I can protect you. I can make it better. I can't give you everything you can't make you happy, but I can make you safe. And we're not communicating with that. That used to be a cornerstone of actual marketing for this industry. You remember the old life insurance where they'd have that family sitting there in the kitchen, they're doing the potluck after a funeral. It's like, I can't believe Daryl's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, God, she must be just torn up about it. I remember when I lost Thomas.
Yeah.
Thank God he had that. I couldn't even think. Thank God he had this life insurance policy. And people are like, I cannot put my wife through that.
Yeah.
So that's what insurance is. It's a promise to come save your ass when things go down. It's a capitalistic implementation of a socialist principle. We will all share the burden to help you if you choose to participate.
Yeah.
Right? So we need to get back to that. I will help you when you have your dialysis. If you choose to participate, this is the thing that you're worried about. I will do it. Your families, every woman in your family's had cancer.
Yeah.
You're worried about that? We're going to get you the best plan to cover cancer, period, so that your kids don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
We're going to do all of that. But that's not what's communicated. It's communicated to get free stuff. And we got, Jumpin' Joe Namath, and J.J. Walker talking about, that's free dental.
And William Shatner, he sold his soul.
God, man, Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
I actually saw him live.
He has check out his Spotify profile. Great music.
Yeah. I bet.
Great songs.
But that's actually how I sold. That's part of the reason why I converted this guy that I just before this dojo from Advantage to MedSup.
Right.
He pointed out, I said, well, what do you like about your plan? Oh, I like that I get the free gym. I like that I get the over-the-counter money. I like that. I said, oh, that's cool stuff. But you know what? I'm worried about you for when the expensive things happen.
So he has a bunch of likes, but you gave him a need.
Right. I'm worried for
what? It reminds me of the Always Sunny episode on the boat, and it's like because of but they're not going to say no.
Right.
Because of the implications.
Right.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
And people have to diverse this stuff, and I get teased about it a lot, but it's absolutely true. You have to treat sales like you're getting into a relationship every time, because you are.
Right.
You have to. So you need to treat it every bit as seriously as if you're developing a relationship with a new significant other or anything else, and also maintaining it like it's that.
Yeah.
So if you're always the person going, I'll give you whatever you want, then you're going to be a doormat and you're never going to get any. Period. But if you're that person that says, hey, I'm a stand-up person, I'm going to be able to take care of you. My job is to make sure that you're safe and your well-being is a priority over what I need to do. Then guess what? You're going to have healthy relationships. You're also going to have people that are around you that actually give a damn.
You also weed out the fools, because the ones that understand logically what you're saying to them, they're going to follow you. But the ones that are still just up their,
Right.
rear, still, they're going to walk away, and you'll be like, well.
And what it allows me to do is be honest, because when that guy calls, I'm going to take my business elsewhere, we go, fine. And then they crawl back, you go, you never do that shit to me again. This is your chance.
Hand up a hand. Yeah, now.
No, it's absolutely what it is. Because I get to be honest with people I care about. I get to be honest with people I care about, and I care about my clients.
Yeah. No, we got that. All right, so let's wrap it up. Last point.
I've got tomorrow's topic for you here.
Okay, let's do that.
This is going to be controversial,
Okay.
but this is what I think is going to happen here in the future. HMO is a wave of the future. It doesn't make sense. Once you look at plans for 2023, you'll see why I say it.
Okay, let's look at that when we get home and have a topic of conversation about HMOs tomorrow. All right, with that being said, guys, great conversation. Thank you for watching. Tune in tomorrow for another riveting conversation about insurance and the business. But thank you guys for watching. Grib is out. Let's go sell something.
Question for you. What are they doing when Kim and Christine's people call in? So we've had quite